upon you, are you washing them? Stand and take. Blessing of the Sabbath. Barakatah Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai. Ba'ashurah. Ntananawa. Ba'ashabach. Ba'ashalom. The water. Amen. English translation. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that gives to us the Sabbath in peace. Thank you, so be it. The Aya Ma'a Ashuraya Makad. Psalm 121. Anya Orayam Ayinyumya Orayam Mayan Yabua'a Izoya Yabua'a Mayahawa Shaisha Shamayam Rataza La'a Yanathan Lamawat Wagalia Yala'a Yanawam Joshua Marka Ana La'a Yanawam Wala'a Yayashan Joshua Marka Yasharala Yahweh Shemaya Yahweh Zalia Ayal Yad Yanyam Yad Yawamam Ashamash La'a Akaya Rayurak La'a Balayala Yahweh Yashamaya Makal Rai Yashamal Napasha Yahweh Yashamal Awalakia Wabaya Maita Wa'ai Iwalam Bahasham Yahusha the water Aman.
Psalm 121. Psalm of the Reed. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence comes my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper, the Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil, shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth to even forevermore.
Amen. Shema Yasharala, hear, O Israel. Shema Yasharala, Yahweh, Allah Hainawa, Yahweh, Akkad, Shema Yasharala, Yahweh, Allah Hainawa, Yahweh, Akkad, Shema Yasharala, Yahweh, Allah Hainawa, Yahweh, Akkad.
Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one Lord.
Yahweh Tapala, Yahweh Spirit. Abiyanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Aya. Shamka. Yahweh. Malakovka. Taba'a. Batazawanka. Aya. Aisha. Barataza. Ka. Bashamayim. Tatananawa. Lakam. Yawam. Za. Wasalaknawa. Kawafnawa. Kasalaknawa. Kawafyanawa. Wala'a. Abiyanawa. O. Nasaiwan. Abo. Aushainawa. Murai. Kaya. Laka. Amalakwa. Wa'ala. Wa'ataparat. Iwalam. Aman.
Matthew 6:9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. Ashura Matazawak, the Ten Commandments. La'a. Yahaya. Laka. Alahayim. Alkayim. Alpanya. La'a. Daisha. Laka. The soul. Wala'a. Taibudam. La'a,
La'a,
Talakwaka,
Alakwaka,
Shamwa,
Shema,
Yahawa,
Yahweh,
Lahaika,
Malahaika,
Lashua,
Lashua,
Zakar,
Zakar,
Af,
Ha,
Ayuwam,
Hayulam,
Ashabah,
Hashabah,
Lakodashwa,
Lakadash,
Kabad,
Kabad,
Abiaka,
Abiaka,
Amaka,
Wahamaka,
La'a,
La'a,
Watazak,
Razazak,
La'a,
La'a,
Tanahaf,
Tana'a,
La'a,
La'a,
Taganab,
Tagana,
La'a,
La'a,
Taina,
Taina,
Shukor,
Shakur,
La'a,
La'a,
Takamad,
Takamad,
Ko,
Ko,
Ashura,
Ashura,
La'aika,
Aika.
Aman.
Exodus 23. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. I, the Lord thy power, and the jealous power. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy power in vain. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gate. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor. Amen.
Aman. Yeshua, peace be seated. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ashura, Nathanawa, Kaya Gapan, Tuara Aman, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Af Yasha'al. English translation: Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that give to us the fruit of the vine. Thank you, so be it. To Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, with Israel. I bow upon you, you Jerusalem, stand face first. Repeat the Hebrew only. Barakatah Yahweh, Hagadol, Rakarum, Abiyo, Anawa'ah, Aliyuwan, Malak, Shaw, Shemayim, Barataza, Wako, Gabayim, Kayayum, Wagum, Amashiach, Mayahawa, Adawadnawa, Ahabnawa, Hapala, Yahaitaza, Yahushai, Zakarnawa, Yahawa, Ratazawan, Aimka, Yasha'ala, Aizonawa, Bana, Wasap, Yasha'ala, O, Nanawa, Yamyun, Aita, Kaiwamyun, Makudam, Abakushai,
Shah,
Shalat,
Shalat,
Micah Allah,
Micah Allah,
Watazawadak,
Watazudak,
Alahayim,
Alahayim,
La,
La,
Maganawa,
Ganawa,
Wapanawa,
Wapanawa,
Washamor,
Washamar,
Alnawa,
Alnawa,
Baikor,
Baikor,
Shalak,
Shalat,
Alwaka,
Walker,
Shal,
Shel,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Lanawa,
Manawa,
Lalamadnawa,
Manawa,
Rabium,
Rabium,
Kakma,
Bakama,
Tabawana,
Babawana,
Wadaif,
Wadai,
Shal,
Shel,
the Barka,
the Barka,
Basham,
Basham,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
the Wada,
the Wada,
the Myad,
Yad,
Waiwalam,
Wailam,
Aman.
Aman.
English translation: Blessed are you, Yahweh, the great, merciful, mighty, terrible, most high power, King of heaven and earth and all things living, and also the anointed from Yahweh, our Lord, our friend, the wonderful counselor, Yahweh Shai. Remember us, Yahweh, favorably your people Israel. Help us build and gather Israel. Most high, we beg you, right now, like the days of old. Please send Michael and the righteous powers to protect us, heal us, and watch over us. Mainly send the spirit of Yahweh Shai to us to teach us much wisdom, much knowledge, much understanding of thy word. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you always and forever, so be it. Repeat the Hebrew only. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the law. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Nathanawa, Atha. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the light to see. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Nathanawa, Awar, La'ara. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that give to us the ramson to call the people. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Nathanawa, Quran, Ayah, Lakara, A'ayin. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that give to us the olive oil to anoint Israel. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Nathanawa, Ashaman, Zayaf, Namashak, Yasha Allah. Yeshua. All right, Shalom, Yasharala.
Shalom.
All right, welcome to Hayasharala Kanas, which stands for the Congregation of Israel. Shalom, where we teach the so-called Negroes and Hispanics, those whose forefathers were brought here on cargo slave ships. They are the real Jews that the Bible speaks of. As God's people, the nation of Israel, we are commanded every Sabbath to come worship before the Most High. And this is why we're here today, to keep the commandments of the Most High, as we just read in Exodus, the 20th chapter. My name is Kahan Pakwad, and I will be doing the service today. And I want to take the time out to salute, greet, and everybody that's on the live stream. Kahan Yao Kanan, Sister Aoya, Edwin and Emma, Watazi Yun, and also I see Timoli, which that's our wow. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Lord's Day. And it is an honor to be here today to keep the Sabbath day as it is written in the scriptures. Shalom, everyone. Profitable Talks. Shalom, Manashah. Welcome to the Lord's Sabbath Service. Today's reading is going to be in the book of First Chronicles, chapter 18 and 19. Once again, all praises to the Most High by Hashem Yahushua, who allows us to be here today and know who we are in exercising the righteous acts as it is written. Again, the book and chapter will be First Chronicle, the First Chronicle, chapter 18 and chapter 19. In the book of Chronicle, the First Chronicle and Second Chronicle, which is stories, right? And the story that you're gonna mostly find in this chapters is First Samuel, Second Samuel, First King, and Second King, mostly, right? Because it outlines the stories in these chapters in a different manner. Now, what you're gonna see is the Most High, as we read in previous chapters, how the Most High always have a remnant, and we went through the names of those in the remnant in the chapters in Chronicle, right? The remnant that the Most High always, through our generation, always have a remnant that do His service as a servant, even though we have the majority of us out there in the world doing our own thing, not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. But throughout generations, there's always a remnant that the Most High keep, right? To keep doing His service throughout generation in every captivity that we in. So in this captivity that we in, Most High's and Most High's will, we are those that the Most High chose in this captivity to carry out His service, even in our enemy's territory. So that's why it is a great honor, and thank the Most High that if you can see this today and you're in a Sabbath service, all glory to the Most High by Hashem Yahushua. Because it's just because of Him that we are able to see this. Because we have the majority of us out there, we still lost and not know who we are according to the scriptures. All right, so the chapter again is First Chronicle, chapter 18 and 19. And we're going to read about David, how the Most High keep David and have David prevail over his enemies. All right, contrary to what we told when we were in Christian church, when you in the scriptures, all you have to do on Sunday, you go to church, you take your Bible with you, and you dress up, and you go and sit and listen to the preacher. You sing, you dance, and then after that, you go home, right? This is a religious practice. But when we come to the truth, we find out this is about a nation. This is about rulership. This is about war. This is about control. This is about subdue of nation, so you can take control of earth, right? Not just a portion, but take control of earth. Just as we have a nation controlling the planet Earth today, it's Esau, and you read the earth is given into the hand of the wicked in Job. Let's get that real quick. I'm gonna get this scripture first. Psalm 2. And Psalm 24 and verse 1. And Kahan Samak, if you don't mind, read that for us, Babu Kushah. Psalm 24 and verse 1.
Psalm chapter 24, verse 1. It reads, The earth is the Lord, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. For he hath founded it upon the seas and established it upon the floods. Who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord? Who shall stand in his holy place? He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who hath not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. He shall receive the blessings from Yahweh, and righteousness from the power of his salvation.
So the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, and everybody on earth, everything on earth belongs to the Most High. So now let's see what the Most High did with everything that's his, including the earth. Let's go to Job 9:24. We'll read that also.
Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
Right. So we just read that the earth belongs to the Most High and everything thereof. So it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So the earth that is the Most High's, who's giving it to the wicked? The Most High giving it into the hand of the wicked. Read on.
It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof.
Right.
If not, where and who is he?
Right. So now, if we put two and two together, we should know Esau is the one controlling the planet Earth. What he's doing is he's trying to subdue the planet Earth in its entirety. So that's why he's all over the place, right? In every country, in every nation, his objective is to subdue, control, because the earth is given into his hand. But his time is short. He already run his course. And now you see havoc is being reaped on the planet, right? He's losing power. He's losing control. But now, as he's losing power and he's losing control, there's another group of, or another nation that is getting prepared to take over, because the earth is not going anywhere, right? It's just got to be run by another nation. And that nation is Israel, right? So that's pretty much what we're going to read in First Chronicle to get an example how to subdue nation, how to beat nation, right? How to take over nation to establish rulership. So nothing is given for free, right? And let's read the scripture as well. In Exodus. Let's go to Exodus. And it reads in Exodus, Exodus 15 and verse 3.
Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord is a man of war.
The Lord is a man of war. And that's pretty much the example that we're going to see. David, a man of the Lord, he did not get anything for free. The Most High directed his step, right, to take over nation, to subdue nation, and make them pay tribute. All right? And you can finish up that verse.
The Lord is his name.
The Lord is his name. All right? So with that being set up, so let's go to First Chronicle chapter 18. Psalm 4:21. Exodus. All right. So, and it starts, it said, now, after this, it came, and keep in mind, First Chronicle again, you can read the story that I'm reading here in First Samuel, Second Samuel, First King, and Second King. But we're gonna, reference some of those scriptures that are in these chapters. It says, now, after this, it came to pass that David smote the Philistine and subdued them, and took Gath and her town out of the hand of the Philistine. So after he prevailed and he took Gath, which was a town, a city, and the little town around the city, he also took. And he smote Moab, and the Moabite became David's servant and brought gifts. So after he conquered the Philistine, he marched to Moab. He defeated Moab, and Moab becomes servant, meaning slaves, right? And he made them pay tribute. When you see gift right here, he made them pay tribute. So let's go to Psalm 47 in verse 3. Or before we get to Psalm 47, hold it. Let's get Genesis chapter 1 and verse 28. Could read that for me, Brother Kushak.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. And Yahweh blessed them, and the power said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
That's it. All right. So now that's pretty much the objective. The objective is to subdue, right, multiply, and control everything that move upon the earth, including men and beasts. So therefore, the nations round about, they're supposed to be under subjection of God's people. And right now, we are subjecting to them because we broke the laws of the Most High. So right here, when we read in the second verse, in the first verse and the second verse in First Chronicle, we saw that David, right, overcome the Philistine and also Moab. He subdued them, he controlled them, and make them servant, and they came and pay taxes, right? In verse 3, and it says, and David smote Hadarezer, king of Zobah, unto Hamath, as he went to establish his dominion by the river Euphrates. So at the same time that David is setting up his dominion, you have other nations also who wants to establish themselves, right, to subdue, right, their region or the area where they have desire to control. So now, as he was on his way, he caught up with David, and David pretty much fought him and prevailed again. It says, and David took from him 1,000 chariots and 7,000 horsemen and 20,000 footmen. It says David also huffed all the chariots' horses, but reserved of them 100 chariots. So what David did, spoils of wars, David took the chariots, right, and he took their horses. But what he did, when it says half all the chariots' horses, but reserve of them 100 chariots. So what he did, he took enough horses for the chariot that he took from him, and then he pretty much injured the rest of the horses so that they would not be of use to him or anybody who want to come against him, right, to try to fight him, right? So that's pretty much what he did. He took enough horses so he can, run his chariots, right? The horses that he took from this guy right here. What's his name again? Hadarezer, right? In verse 4, it says in verse 5, it says, and when the Syrians of Damascus came to help Hadarezer, king of Zobah. So now, as David is fighting, word is going around. Now they come in to save Hadarezer, the Syrians. Okay, they try to bring help to Hadarezer. So David, let's see what David did in verse 6. It says, then David put garrison. Let me read verse 5 again. And when the Syrians of Damascus came to help Hadarezer, king of Zobah, David slew the Syrians 22,000 men. 22,000 men, 22,000 men. Then David put garrison in Syria, Damascus, and the Syrians became David's servant and brought gift. Here we go right there again. They become servant and they pay tribute or pay taxes. Thus the Lord preserved David whithersoever he went. So when it says he set garrison there in Damascus, he set up people, his people, to run that country, right? In the Syrians. Kind of like as you see the example, you might have Esau. He just go to Iraq, for example. He take over, so he's gonna get people in Iraq that speak the language, native there, that ally with him, and he put them in position to run the government. But that's his people, so it's pretty much the same tactic David did there. He put his people who are in league with him, right, in the other nation, right, to rule over the Syrians. Because it wouldn't make sense if you don't speak the language. It's going to be difficult for you to run those people. So you have to have people that you are in league with, right, so that you can set them up, all right, over their people. Verse 7, and David took the shield of gold that were on the servants of Hadarezer and brought them to Jerusalem. So he took the spoils of war, the silver and the gold, right? In verse 8, it says, likewise, from Titahath and from Shun, cities of Hadarezer, brought David very much brass, right? Very much brass. And you're going to see that what he's going to use the brass for later on. Well, there you go. Wherefore, Solomon made the brazen sea and the pillars and the vessels of brass. That's what he used, right, for the construction of the temple. Now, when Tohu, king of Hamath, heard of David had smitten all the hosts of Hadarezer, king of Zobah, he sent Adoram, his son, to King David. So now he was the king, and when you read in previous chapters, and in from 1 Samuel, you're gonna see that same man right there. He has been fighting the same guy that David just defeated.
Back in what you just read in verse 8, where it gave you a foreshadowing of what was going to happen with the materials that David was going to receive from the heathen, where it says, wherewith Solomon made the brazen sea. This kind of goes into what you read in 2nd Ezra, the 14th chapter, when Ezra petitioned the Most High to allow him to rewrite the record, because the record was going to be destroyed in the future from where David is doing this, because the Babylonians and the Edomites would destroy the record.
Right.
So now when Ezra, the Most High put the spirit in Ezra to speak, and then you had others write down everything. Now it's going back in time and rewriting what was already provided in our record. So that's why in here it says that that brass that was taken from David would be what Solomon would do.
Right. Because
they already knew this was going to happen. So it wasn't like when things was happening, we was writing it down as time went on, and then we would have it as that. No, those records got destroyed. So we already knew of certain lands, right? That's why even you're reading the law where it mentions Jerusalem before David even took it.
Right.
Right. During the time of Joshua and other men, it mentions the names of the land that would be in their latter time, not at the time of the current, because these records got to be rewritten.
Right. And
that references the 2nd Ezra, the 14th chapter, and verse 19 on down.
Right. That's it on there, right? Shalom, Mark. All right, so that's why things written the 4th time was written for our learning. And as you're in the midst of the situation that the Most High set up, you may not have the time to go back and look everything to retrace your steps. But as Hansa might point out, you can see how everything was already written. But as they playing their part, right, you know, they may not have paid attention to it, but it's pretty much happening exactly the way the Most High set it up. They making the right move, they step in the right direction to accomplish exactly what the Most High had already written. Right? So things written the 4th time was written for our learning. All right, so go back to First Chronicle, the 18th chapter, and now we at the 10th verse. Again, this king right here was having issues with the same Adonijah, and he sent his son to bring gift and congratulate David for prevailing against this man. It says he sent Adoram, his son, to King David to inquire of his welfare and congratulate him because he had fought against Adonijah and smitten him. For Adonijah had war with two, and with him all manner of, and took, it says to, and with him, he took with him all manner of vessels of gold and silver and brass. And this was a custom. When you're gonna go see a king, right, you're supposed to bring gifts. It was customary. You don't go empty-handed. And you see that practice. The Most High said, when you come to the house of the Most High, you should not come empty-handed. And even when Yahushua was born, when they sent the wise men to go see him, they also brought gifts, right? Symbolizes, you should not appear empty-handed when you go and meet kings, right? And
the saying where it goes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So let you know that this king, he had also wars with Adonijah.
Mm-hmm.
So now he finds out that David went and took out Adonijah. So now it's like, oh man, he took out a long-time foe of mine.
Right.
Let me go congratulate him and then also perform some kind of alliance, bring a peace offering.
Right. And that doesn't mean, right, they're your people, and because it's about subduing the earth. If they respect, right, your way of life, the way the Most High wants us to live, and they don't want any ruckus with us, right, then okay. But when it comes to trying to hinder us from keeping the law, statute, and commandment of the Most High, now we have a huge problem, right? Because you would not be able to run the entire earth as it is. So you're gonna have other nations around. So now with those other nations, they're gonna be servant, but you don't want any servant to cause any problem, right? You want to restore order, right? And that's pretty much what it's about, right? You want a kingdom run smoothly. Granted, it won't happen until Yahushua makes the second coming, but this is ideal, right, to run your kingdom in peace. Or even, wherever the children of Israel is, as long as they not getting in the way of keeping the law, statute, and commandment. In verse 11 now. Then also, King David dedicated unto the Lord with the silver and the gold that he brought from all these nations, from Edom and from Moab, and and Semach from Moab, and from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistine, and from Amalek. It says, moreover, Abishai, the son of Zariah, Shu of the Edomite, in the valley of Salt, 18,000. So now a name is being introduced here. Let's see whose name is this man right here. This man right here, Abishai, right? He's the nephew of David. He's David's nephew, and they name his son right here. I mean, who is his father? And it says it was a brother of Joab, and you can write down First Chronicle, chapter 2, and verse 16. First Chronicle, chapter 2, and verse 16. And let's see some of his accomplishment. Why he's important. He accompanied David to Saul's camp one night and would have killed Saul. Right? He would have killed Saul if they didn't restrain him. So he was the one who would be responsible for killing Saul, and David did not restrain him. So this is that man right here that we reading about. Also, you can read the same story in 1 Samuel 26, verse 6 to 12. 1 Samuel chapter 26, verse 6 to 12. Again, let's read on about him. It said he also helped Joab kill Abner, Saul's general, in revenge for the death of another brother. Right? This is some of his accomplishment again. Chapter and verse, you have 2 Samuel, chapter 3 and verse 30. You can read that as well. 2 Samuel, chapter 3 and verse 20. And then later on, he beat the Ammonite, which we're going to read in the 19th chapter. That coming next, right? So pretty much, he's a well-known figure, right? That's why it's always good when you read about those names to retain them, because those names later on in the chapters will reappear again. That's why it's important when we were reading the name so and so, the generations of so and so, begot so and so. This is the remnant that the Most High is dealing with. That's why those names are important. So let's go back to First Chronicle.
Yeah, I want to go back to verse 11. Verse 11. Verse 11, it says, "Them also King David dedicated unto the Lord different vessels and things that he got, with the silver and the gold that he brought from all these nations." Now it says, from Edom and from Moab and from the children of Ammon and from the Philistines and from Amalek. Right? So what happens is you have some brothers who or groups or factions that will say that Amalek ain't Esau. Right? Because if you read a verse like this, it says it distinguishes Edom from Amalek. But they say, see, they're not the same people because they're different nations. It says nations plural, and it distinguishes them. So now you have to go in and kind of get an account of understanding why the Most High separated Edom from Amalek if they're all the same people. Right? So I got 4, maybe 5 precepts to pull if I may.
Go ahead.
So go to Genesis chapter 36. Start here. Genesis 36 and 1. So this is all going to tie into Amalek. Genesis 36:1. And it reads, it says, now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. So Esau is Edom, and these are all the generations of people that come from Esau/Edom, right? Jump down to verse 10. It says, these are the names of Esau's sons. Eliphaz, the son of Adad, the wife of Esau. Reuel, the son of Bathsheba, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz. Verse 12. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adad, Esau's wife, right? So we see that Amalek comes from the generation of Esau, right? So it's not that they're separate. He is from that line. He's one of the grandsons. So now what distinguishes Amalek out from all the rest? Go to Exodus chapter 17. Amalek is a key figure in the scriptures and even what's going on now. So this is Exodus chapter 17 and verse 1. And this is an important piece of history here as it pertains to Amalek. I'm trying to read this through. It says, and all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys, according to the commandment of the Lord, and pitched in Rephidim. And there was no water for the people to drink, right? So now this is them coming out of Egypt, going into the wilderness. Now, just going around, wandering the wilderness, and the Most High has different things set up for them to go through while they're in the wilderness to prove them, right? Jump down to verse 8. It says, and then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. So we know that Amalek is one of the grandsons of Esau. They came as a people to fight against Israel. It says, and Moses said unto Joshua, choose us out men and go out and fight with Amalek. Now, Amalek, right, is one of the chief men or the chief tribes that come out of Esau. Oh, let's go back to Genesis 36. Go back to Genesis 36. I should have just jumped down and read it. Genesis 36 and 15. Right? Genesis 36 and 15. It says, these were the dukes of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn of Esau. Duke Teman, Duke Omar, Duke Zepho, Duke Kenaz, Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came out of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adad. Now, when you look up the word duke, it means like chief, right? Like chief or head. Just like how in our nation, we have the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, and each one of those men were like the dukes or chiefs of the heads of the tribes of our nation. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, right? They chose the word duke here for Esau's nation or Esau's genealogy. So when we're reading about Amalek, he's one of the chief tribes or the chief groups of people that come out of Esau, right? Now, throughout the prophecies and throughout the history, you'll find out that he was one of the top ones, right? Just like how Judah prevailed over all the tribes in Israel, and he's the head tribe. Amalek would also be in that vein. We're going to prove that as we read the scripture. So going back to Exodus 17, right? This is some good information and precepts to just have about Amalek. So back in Exodus 17 and 9, and Moses said unto Joshua, choose us out men and go out and fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of power in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses and Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him and sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hand, the one on the one side, the other on the other side. and his hands were steady unto the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And Yahweh said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nisa. And he said, because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So Amalek is very important and key figure in the beginnings of our nation, because they were the first group of people when we came out of Egypt to come and make war with us, right? Now, here's the key piece. Go to Numbers, the 24th chapter. Numbers chapter 24. Numbers 24 and verse, I'm going to start at 15. Numbers 24:15. Remember, we went here because in David's account in the Chronicles, it separated Edom from Amalek, but they come from the same line. They're the same people, right? But this is Numbers 24:15, and he took up his parable and said, Balaam the son of Beor have said, and the man whose eyes are open have said. So if you remember the storyline, Balak hired Balaam to curse Israel, right? And the Most High would send Balaam's spirit to talk with him on telling him not to do certain things. You can't curse Israel because Israel is a chosen people under him, right? So now Balaam is going to be given a vision of what would happen in the end time. It says, verse 16, and he hath said, which heard the words of power and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and shall destroy all the children of Seth. Right? That Sheth there is not an actual seed. It's like a tumultuous group of people when you look into the etymology of the word. But here's the key. Verse 18. And Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. Right? So it breaks down what was going to happen with Edom. Verse 19. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. So now he's giving you the parable pertaining to Edom. But then the 20 says, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. Right? So it says now he's looked at Edom, and now he turns and he's looking at Amalek. And now the parable comes about Amalek. So but it says that he's the first of the nations. Right? It's not literal. Amalek was not the first nation created in the earth, right? Because Abraham fought wars before Isaac was born and before Jacob was born or Esau was born. So when it's talking about he was the first of the nations, he was the head of the nation or the chief of the nation, right? Same way, you got to understand the wording and what's in Hebrew behind that. So when you look today, you look at Amalek. Where is Amalek positioned? He's positioned at the head places all over the earth. Head over there in our land in Israel. Head over here controlling the banks. Head controlling the media. Head controlling all technologies and things. Amalek is the first or the head of all the nations. But the Most High's parable that he gave to Balaam was that he was going to be destroyed in the end, right? So we see here, even in the prophecy that was given to Balaam, the Most High made a distinction between Edom as a nation themselves and one of their dukes. Because one of the dukes that came out of them would rise up to be one of the top people in all the earth. They're everywhere. They have been a nomadic people to travel in every place and to rise up to try to control and cause chaos. Right. So the Most High had to make a distinction with Amalek what was going to happen. Esau is going to suffer the fate, but Amalek is a key piece to this whole puzzle because they're the ones who taking our identity. Right? Not all Esau took our identity. The Irish, they could be one of the dukes. The British could be one of the dukes. But this one duke, Amalek, is the main one that not only took our land, took our identity, and took all the resources and things throughout the whole world.
Right.
So this is where the Most High is showing you that Amalek, when you go and you start lining things up, you'll see, just like we do with the 12 tribes, just like we do with Ishmael, when you start lining up the scriptures, you line up the current, the events of history, you know who it's talking about, right? And then one more, last one, Deuteronomy 17. I wanted to bring this out because a lot of times I'm seeing that, people are saying that they're going against conventional wisdom that's in the scriptures about who certain people are.
Okay, remember Amalek?
Yes. The Deuteronomy 17 and 17. Deuteronomy 25, sorry, Deuteronomy 25, 17, not 17. Deuteronomy 25 and 17. So Deuteronomy 25 and 17, it says, remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way when you were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not the power. Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy power hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, speaking about the kingdom, in the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it.
Right.
So the Most High has like a sore spot for Amalek. And we should have a sore spot for Amalek because the Most High was that enraged with them all the way from the beginning. And he knew what Amalek would do throughout the different generations.
That's a beautiful segue with Amalek, because you can see how they even confuse the story. The Most High had it where they don't even know what they're doing, but they fulfilling prophecy as the Most High said. Because I see Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, he don't even think that he's Amalek. That story right here where it says, remember Amalek, he thinks he's the children of Israel. So that story right here don't pertain to him. He's going to be the one get rid of Amalek. Right? So that's what the Most High put in their head. Right? But that's why it's beautiful when the Most High gave us the clues and gave us the code, right, to break down and to understand it. And whereas those people supposedly running and having power, they doing things, big things that they don't even know what they're doing, but the Most High is pretty much directing their step to fulfill prophecy for the real children of Israel. Right? That's pretty much what it's going to. Fulfilling prophecy for the real children of Israel. Imagine, right, if they knew things before they fulfilling things that the Most High had planned, right? So they have to exactly confuse in their head, thinking that they the children of Israel, right? We're gonna go out there and teach on social media, in the Sabbath Service, right? Teach who the real children of Israel are. Even if they see this, they still will not believe what we're saying. In their mind, the same way we think they are confused, they think we are confused, right? But by putting scripture in scripture, here a little, there a little, right? We make sense of the scriptures, whereas they don't have that luxury, right? They have not been blessed, right? They've been cursed, right, to carry out the Most High's mission as it is written. So that was very good right here. I hope you get those scriptures that Kahan Samak just brought out. Breaking down who Amalek is as pertaining to what we were reading here in First Chronicles chapter 18. And now we back to verse 13. What? And he put garrison in Edom, and all the Edomites became David's servants. Thus the Lord preserved David wheresoever he went. Showing that our story didn't start with slavery. David pretty much was subduing nations right here in we reading it in First Chronicles. See, that's why history had to be hidden from us, right? So that the captivity would make sense. Otherwise, if we knew way back when that we were the children of Israel, we will buck up saying that now this is not supposed to be our condition, and we will rebel long time ago. But the Most High had it where we read in Jeremiah, the 17th chapter last night, that we discontinue from our heritage, right? Because we discontinue from our heritage, we don't know that story here that we're reading in First Chronicles, right? That we subdue nation way back when. And verse 14. So David reigned over all Israel and executed judgment and justice among all his people, right? So now he took over and run the kingdom of Israel and give justice to whom justice is due. Verse 15, and Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was over the host, and Jehoshaphat, the son of Ehud, recorded. So now we going into the government, how David formed his government and who was over what position. And it says, and Jehoshaphat, the son of Ehud, recorded. Verse 16. And Zadok, the son of Ahitub, and Abimelech, the son of Abiatar, were the priests. And Shevshah was scribe. And Benaiah, the sons of Jehoiada, was over Sheratites. And the Pelatites and the sons of David were chief about the king. So they were second in command after David, his son. His sons were second in command in his kingdom. Just to show you, this is not about religion. This is about rulership and government. But in the world, they tell you religion should stay out of politics, right? When we see here, this is not about religion. This is about the kingdom, established rulership, and government over the nation of Israel.
It's like when presidents come into office, or governors, mayors, whatever, they establish their own cabinet. Right? They bring in certain people who they want over certain administration.
Right.
Because either they trust them or whatever the case may be. But this is what King David and King Solomon and other righteous kings did. They set the righteous men over specific areas that they felt that they were going to be able to honor that duty and execute.
Correct. So those are the remnant. Again, you see those remnant names, they being named for those positions. That's what they call great in the kingdom. This is a small example of those that are called great in the kingdom. Now we're going to transition to the second chapter, which is 19. So now we read, it says, now it came to pass after this that Nahash, the king of the children of Ammon, died, and his son reigned in his stead. And David said, I will show kindness unto Hanan, the son of Nahash, because his father showed kindness to me. And David sent messengers to comfort him concerning his father. Right? So pay tribute, pay homage to him because he lost his father. And we did not have any issue with him because he respected David. Right? So David did an act of, goodness, and he pretty much sent an envoy to Ammon, right? To, nice gesture.
Right. And, we know that this is the rulership is under Satan. But even under Satan, going back from the time of Adam, and we see righteous kings who took the throne. In a quote unquote perfect world, this is what it would be like, right? Israel's in their land, everything is going good. Then you got the heathens over there. If they don't have any, animosity, they're not trying to come and take their land, invade, take their resources, how the nations do today. But this guy, he was favorable to me. I showed favor to him. He died. You know what? Let me go and offer a peace offering because your father just passed, right? That's normal. It's not like, we just separate ourselves from everybody that we didn't know anything that's going on. No, David had some form of relationships. He bartered, like made trades, probably had some discussions and things that was going on with the other nations. So this is not far-fetched to see King David do something like this, right, which is honorable.
Right. This is righteous diplomacy.
Right.
Right. Not conniving, say what this a thing. But in their mind, they have in their mind unrighteous diplomacy. And then we're going to read that as we see it. And it says again, and David sent messengers to comfort him concerning his father. So the servants of David came unto the land of the children of Ammon to Hanan to comfort him. Verse 3. But the princes of the children of Ammon said to Hanan, thinkest thou that David do honor thy father, that he have sent comforters unto thee? That's a question the servant went to the king. He said, you think David really sent your servant to comfort you? You actually think that's pretty much what he's doing? It says that he have sent comforter unto thee. Are not his servants come unto thee to search and to overthrow and to spy out the land? He said, nah, this is espionage. This man came to spy out the land and do an intelligent gathering so that he can overthrow you. So he's not genuine. That's what I'm saying. They have in their head, right? You know what? Don't trust this guy. He's not doing it out of kindness of his mind. He's plotting.
A lot of times when people have thoughts like this, they're projecting what they would do.
Right. That's why I was saying that he has unrighteous diplomacy in their head.
Yeah, they project if the shoe was another foot and King David had died, he said, there's a sense of weakness. The king is dead. Then now morning, the guard is down. Now is the time that we can strike and go take him down. We got to go and do a recon. Right. We got to send folks in there and see what's going on. What the people are thinking. What are they saying? Right. So that's what they were doing. They were projecting. The same thing happens now. Right. You look for the slightest weakness and someone who you figure might have the land, resources, or whatever, that you can go and overthrow them. Right. And that's what they're doing. David didn't have those intentions, but that's what they probably would do.
Right. Pretty much. And verse 4 now. Verse 4, it says, wherefore Hanun took David's servant and shaved them and cut off their buttocks and sent them away. So this is a form of humiliation to us. What he did, he shaved them. He took David's servant and shaved them and sent him back as a message that your gesture were not well received. Right? This is, a form of humiliation to our people.
Right, and then the shaving, like you said, it's a form of the cutting out your garments to show your buttocks. So imagine if here it is, you are a manly man, and now all of a sudden you're going out to war, you're going out there to be like an ambassador, and you come back and your behind is showing.
Right.
You're gonna be laughing at you like, yo, what the heck has happened to you? Why is it like that? So you be a laughing stock.
Right.
Then it says they shaved them, right? Meaning they shaved their heads, shaved their beards. So that would be an embarrassment as well, because that's not something that Israel did. That's a part of Esau's custom, to shave everything, right? Shave your head, shave your mustache, shave your beard, and now in their wicked sense of culture, they view that as being appealing.
Mm-hmm.
When you read in Leviticus chapter 21, verse 5, they shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. So that's in the law, Leviticus 21 and 5. So that was not a part of our custom to go and do that. So now when you came back shaving, now you wouldn't be looked at as a man.
Yeah, it looks strange.
Yeah, you look strange. You look weird, right? And that's what Esau tries to project on us. Sometimes you go into their establishments, and this is all you got to shave off your beard. You're like, what? I got to shave off my beard to do the job. I can do the job. I got to do it. Look, I'm punching keys on the fingers on the keyboard. Or I'm just watching that nobody coming in and steal no property and nothing like that. Why gotta shave my beard? Now you gotta shave your beard, right? It's like because psychologically they always come up ways to dehumanize you, right? They come up with ways to now take your spirit or take your soul. In order for you to now gain this, you gotta give up something.
Right.
You gotta give up. You gotta take the bed off, man. You're like, what? Like even in the military, when you look at a lot of those new incoming soldiers, what do? They have them shave off everything. Right? And you look at the law, you're like, yo, you're not supposed to shave off anything. He said, in God we trust. Why would you cause us to go and do this? Because they're backwards. They are the border of wickedness. So they would not advocate the things that's in the law.
Right. And then you can see even when we take a wife, when we go to war and take a wife of the other nation, you have to shave their head.
Yeah. Humble.
Yeah. So now, verse 5. So now it says, now they send them out there, they cut their clothes and they're out there, show up, their butt is hanging out.
Today, you got men walking around here sagging their pants on purpose. You're like, what the heck is this, man? You got men out here showing their behind on purpose. Right? And they don't even see that that's an embarrassment in itself. They think it's, something that is like a
fashion
style, it's a fashion. I'm gonna sag my pants. And then you got some who will bring their pants, they'll have their pants like underneath their buttocks, and as they're walking, they gotta hold their pants up.
Right.
They're walking holding their belt because their pants gonna drop down to their ankles. Like, y'all want to just put the dog on pants over your behind. But nah, they want to show their whole butt. It's an embarrassment.
Yep. In verse 6, and it says, yep. Verse 5, you can read verse 5. It says, and there went certain and told David how the men were served, and he sent to meet them. For the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, and then return. So it's like, take a break, stay in the house, until your beard is grown, and then, you can come back in your position. But
man, that's got to stay in the house for about 2-3 weeks, man. Grow back.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Verse 6. And when the children of Ammon saw that they had made themselves.
Oh, it's a lot. The reason, David did this, to me, it reminds me of Eleazar in the Maccabees, where they tried to choose Eleazar to make it appear that he was eating swine's flesh or eating unclean meat. But he said, nah, if I do that, then the children of Israel would think that, he's going off, right? Because they look at him as a father figure. They look at him as an example. So whatever he do, they're going to copy that. So David was like, look, y'all men go stay in the house, because now if they're out in public, what would happen? Some people would say, yo, this is David's guy.
Right.
And their beards is shaved.
Right.
I guess it's okay.
Right.
I guess it's not a thing. It's not a problem. We can start shaving our beards to be just like them.
Right.
So he said, nah, go home and stay there until your beard is grown, and then you come out.
Right. So this is going to public relation and communication.
Right.
Control communication. Because communication doesn't always have to be verbal.
Right.
Right. Body language, action, and things like that, image.
Right.
Yeah, so David was very smart in doing that, because everything is pretty much communication. He didn't want, like you said, that to spill over and people think it's okay. Because like we're reading here, what we're reading in the scriptures is information, is communication, is the Most High talking to us, right? What he wants us to do in this book right here, right? So that's why we have this to fall back on, to know what the Most High wants us to do, right? That's the Most High talking to us. We don't see the Most High physically, but that's his wish, his will for us that is being put in the Bible here, right? And that's why we got to follow everything that he tells us to the best of our ability. Because communication is the highest form of warfare, right? That's why you have, Esau try to control the narrative, try to control media, right? The media is being controlled by Esau, and he doesn't want any of us, right? The media to fall in the hand of us, right? Because he wants to make sure that he's in control of everything that is being said, the teaching, right? So that's why it's beautiful when most open our eyes to understand the scriptures, and Esau cannot control it, even though they might try to change the word here so they can change the meaning, but it's too little too late. The Most already, raised us up to understand the scriptures, as it is written. Barakatah Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua for this blessing. Verse 6. And when the children of Ammon saw that they had made themselves odious to David, and they knew what they did was wrong, and they ready for retaliation. They know David is not gonna, let this go. And it says, and Anan sent 1,000 talents of silver to hire them chariots and horsemen. So he started to invest in chariots and horsemen. He went to rent them out of Mesopotamia and out of Syria and Masha and out of Zobah, because they know David is no chump. So they hired 32,000 chariots, and the king of Masha and his people, who came and pitched before Midbar, and the children of Ammon gathered themselves together from their cities and came to battle. Because this was an act of war. They presumed that what they did was not gonna go unpunished. It's kind of like what Israel did, throw a bomb at Iran. So this is deliberate, but expect retaliation. Verse 8. And when David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the sons of the mighty men, and the children of Ammon came out and put the battle in array before the gate of the city. And the kings that were come were by themselves in the field. So this has nothing to do with personal. This is a national security of Israel. So David acted, to protect our dignity. So that's pretty much what you see Esau saying, to protect their borders, to protect the nation, right? They do this, granted, in wickedness, but David right here took that very seriously. So now it's time for action. Verse 10. Now when Joab saw that the battle was set against him before and beyond and behind, he chose out all the choice of Israel and put them in array against the Syrians. So when Joab, he take an assessment of the condition of the battle in the field. So he see where he was weak at, and he devised a strategy to cover, his track, or to protect his soldiers. Verse 11. And the rest of the people he delivered unto the hands of Abishai, his brother. And they set themselves in array against the children of Ammon. And he said, if the Syrian be too strong for me, then thou shalt help me. But if the children of Ammon be too strong for thee, then I will help thee. That's the condition. Be of good courage, and let us behave ourselves valiantly for our people. This is the point right here. This is not a personal matter, but this is the nation matter. Right? You got to protect the people, right, by any cause when it comes to our dignity in regards to what the Most High want us to uphold. And for the city of our God, and let the Lord do which it's good in his sight. So it said, we're going to do what we're going to do for our people's sake. And then meanwhile, the Most High going to do what he has to do. Verse 14. So Joab and the people that were with him drew nigh before the Syrians unto the battle. And they fled before him. Right? So the Most High put the fear of Joab in him. They started to run. Verse 15. And the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fled. So when the Moabite, the Ammonite saw that the Syrian start running, they likewise fled before Abishai, his brother, and entered into the city. Then Joab came to Jerusalem. So it go to an example here that the man planned, but the Most High is the one that direct the steps. That doesn't mean you're not supposed to plan. So Joab here, he planned, but the Most High pretty much had a bigger plan for the same objective that they had. So the objective is to defeat them and prevent as much casualty as they possibly could. But in this case, there was no casualty on their side. Instead, the enemy ran away, which is even a bigger deal. And the Most High is the one that pretty much set, right, the outcome of the battle. Verse 16. And when the Syrians saw that they were put to the worst before Israel, they sent messengers and drew forth the Syrians that were beyond the river, and Shaphat, the captain of the host of Hadarezer, went before him. And it was told David, and he was told David. So they went and reported that to David. And he gathered all Israel and passed over Jordan and came upon them, and he set battles in array against them. So when David had put the battle in array against the Syrians, they fought with him. But the Syrians fled before Israel. And David slew of the Syrian 7,000 men, which fought in chariots, and 40,000 men, and killed Shaphat, the captain of the host. And when the servant of Hadarezer saw that they were put to the worst before Israel, they made peace with David and became his servant. You can beat them, join them. So they decide to bow down, raise the white flag, and they surrender. And they agree to become David's slaves. Neither would the Syrians help the children of Ammon anymore, because they could not fight with David. So they decided it was a lost cause for the Ammonite, and they saved themselves by making themselves slaves to David. So in a nutshell, we see how the Most High's hand is in everything that we call upon him for. And we can plan, but always keep in mind, as long as our mind is in the right place, our plan will work out even better, because the Most High will be the one to direct our plan. Again, the moral of the story that we read here, or to get a full context of the First Chronicle we just read, when you get a chance, revisit 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 King, and 2 King, so you can better appreciate when you read Chronicle, which is the compilation of these two chapters, but showing also in First Chronicle, in Second Chronicle, it just rewritten the stories in those two previous chapters to show that the Most High always having remnant, and the plan that he has for us, no matter what we did, could not deter his plan that he has for us. Meaning those who are gonna be wicked, but it does not affect the plan that the Most High has for the children of Israel. So this is pretty much the bulk of the story. And we see that David is the one that set up the stage for Israel, right? The plan that the Most High has, right? David show forth, and also you see how his skill of organizing the nation, the government, all that, right, is outlined in what we read in First Chronicle, in Second Chronicle. So, with that being said, the next chapter that we're gonna read, you get that minute, Matthew 5 and 6, the water, will be the next chapter we read for next Sabbath service. Warakata Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, for allowing us to be here to revisit our history and this glorious day, the Sabbath day, as we are commanded to do in Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter, by the Most High. So, on to my
Just to, me and Carl was talking before the Sabbath service started. Be careful navigating this weekend. Same thing that happened in 2020 with the protests. You had certain insurgents that came in the midst. They put out yesterday that they're starting to put, what do they call them, rocks and stones and bricks and things in strategic areas so that people can pick them up and then just start riding and causing havoc, right? So they have videos of people going and strategically placing bricks and things along the road in certain areas to cause the chaos. So, a lot of protesting going on today. A lot of against what they call No King's Day, going against the president, and I think it's primarily the president outside of the birthday of the army, but primarily the president. So there's going to be a lot of covert operations and things happening to cause other things to happen, to make it appear that certain groups of people or whatever is causing havoc. So be attentive and aware this weekend on where some of these things are going to be happening so that you can get caught up.
Con. All right. So, as usual, to further the Most High's service, if you want to donate, you can do it via Zelle. Phone number is 646-620-7328. Likewise, if you're still using checks, you can always send your check to 3826B, Germantown Avenue, Philadelphia, PA, 19140. Make sure you write Hi Yashua Kanas on the check, payable to Hi Yashua Kanas. It's scrolling in on the screen. 3826B, Germantown Avenue, Philadelphia, PA, 19140. Also, if you want to do it via second. All right, if you want to continue to learn who you are according to scripture, and you have a friend or family member who intrigued and wants to know what you're into, and if they want to join us every Tuesday and Friday, they can do so by dialing 667-770-1085. The conference code is 521455, followed by the hashtag or the number sign. Again, class time is Tuesdays and Friday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. You can also join us via Zoom if you have a Zoom account, or if you log into Zoom, if you have an iPhone or a smartphone, you can download Zoom and have a free account where you can participate in class, virtual, where you can see everybody, you can ask questions, you can interact. It's profitabletalks.com, profitabletalks.com via Zoom. All right, so if there's any questions, any comments, again, you can always voice those comments and questions in class Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So enjoy the rest of the Sabbath. Like Huntsman just mentioned, be careful this weekend, right? Watch where you're putting your steps when you step out in the street. So, of course, the Most High gonna protect us as long as we do our best to keep His law, statutes, and commandments. All right, have a blessed week. Enjoy the rest of the Sabbath. Stay tuned for the closing prayer. Once again, my name is Kahan Pakwad. And I am signing out. Barakata Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ashura, Natananawa, Pa Yagapan, Tuara Aman, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Af Yasha'al. English translation. Bless our Yahweh in the name of Yahushai, that gives to us the fruit of the vine. Thank you, so be it. To Yahweh in the name of Yahushai with Israel. I model upon you, Ayuashalam, stand and face Jerusalem. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Barukushai, Shemai, Lanawa, Aita, Yamyan, Aita, Shalak, Maika Allah, Wala Azan, Ata Zawdakim, Shemon Ayah, Barak, Rapa, Magun, Wakaziyak, Bunya, Yasha Allah, Wasalak, Lanawa, Rabian, Kakama, Rabian, the Aif, Rabian, Bayana, Rabian, Sablonwa, Rabian, Amawan, Rabian, Aqua, Rabian, Ahabian, Rabian, Agana, Wakanaya, Wasalak, Kal, Katayimna, Akim, Wayashala, Tamyan, Waiwulam, Basham, Yahausha, the water, Aman. English translation. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, please listen to us now, right now. Send Michael and the righteous powers and angels to watch over, bless, heal, protect, and make strong the children of Israel. And send to us much wisdom, much knowledge, much understanding, much patience, much faith, much brotherhood, much love, much spiritual protection, and forgive us all our sin for the brothers and sisters in Israel, always and forever. In the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it. Four corners prayer. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Barak Nawa, Oyasha Allah, Basha Sapaya, Shema, Yasharala, Yahweh, Allah Haynawa, Yahweh, Khan. English translation. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, bless us in the house of book. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our power is one power. All right. Have a happy Sabbath. Shalom.